being even, going in 4 and 4, you already say, yeah, okay, we did our job because we didn't give the defensive team a buffer, an advantage going into the half with the attacking side where they could make mistakes. You know, glorious scenario, the attacking team takes themselves a buffer of their own into the defending side, and you go in 5-3, 6-2 onto the defending side of the map. And that's when we see some of these really dominant games out of teams that end 9-3, 9-2, 9-1 sometimes, is because their attacking side just worked. So although we might look at these teams that are very strong because they got to pick the defending side of the map, and it is favored, if a team has put enough time and effort into cooking the attacking side of this map, I do believe that it can go either way. Definitely more defensively favored, but I think the table is open for teams to show us what they've got different.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. And you know, going beyond my own opinion, I've talked to actually a few players from our last league, and I'm going to leave their names out, but a few of our high-end players who actually placed in that top 4 told me that on Bay 5, a good attack, they're actually attacker-sided. You know, which to me is like, I was almost flabbergasted. Like, I always thought it was Bay 5 defense. But he said you had the ability to snowball on either site if you use the utility properly and overwhelm that site. Especially with the smokes, you can really control the sites. I mean, there's no other way to say it. With the smokes, you can really like isolate people, swing 2, swing 3, use our famous buddy system, have one guy fighting 2 or 3 people. So even if he gets a kill, I mean, we're talking about good players here, so they can pick up kills very quickly. But to trade them out, isolate the site, get that bomb down quickly, you know, and it can be attacker-sided. So it's interesting you said that, Crack, because, again, I was picking a few players' brains, like, what do you think on the high end of Bay 5? And pretty much what I heard was attacker-sided. And I was taken back because I really thought, based on what we saw in the last league, that it was defense-sided. But they said, no, we're just kind of misplaying it. Or other teams are misplaying it. So
I'd like to build on that, actually. It's a very good point, and you've spurred me into some, you know, initiative and some action from a lot of conversations I also have shared with many of the people I'm fortunate enough to converse with in the higher echelons, shall we say, of the skill levels up there. Those players that are just cracked out of their minds, that don't just profess it in their title or their on-screen name like myself. Those people that are just that wicked sick that they have that kind of gun skill, as well as being, you know, the sickest game mind you've ever seen when it comes to awareness. But with the smokes, like you said, and with how smokes play out now, especially bearing in mind utility and counter-utility, lethal utility and counter-utility has become so constrained. Like, it is not as consistent now to be able to pull off those miracle 3-person grenades. I mean, we did see fractions of them through the ACX, where Ice Fanta once in a while was able to nail one of these magical 3-piece grenades, and, you know, we saw it happen sparingly. It wasn't setting the tempo of every game now, and I think that's why the aggressive push to a point, especially a good attacking approach with smokes that deny area control, are very, very strong. So I can understand why teams think that attacking favored is a thing. Now, however, I also, and this is something that's very accurate with Tarkov, right? We don't like change as a community, okay? I'll put it out there, all right? Unpopular opinion, hate me all you like, chat, but we don't like change. Simple bottom line, we just don't adjust to change well. When things come in are new, they tend to unsettle our gamer chairs, they get us on a bit of tilt, and we're on a 70-degree lead for the next couple of days. It is what it is. Same can be said for the smokes. I think that teams are starting to find their footing now when it comes to defending through these smokes. And I think the more comfortable that teams get, the more that attacking side favor is slowly going to shift back to defending side favored. I've seen a lot of players. We saw even an instance of one on ball where a player got lost in the smoke. Like, we saw a micro adjustment and then a reverse adjustment back, and it's just like, I don't know, guys. Like, I really don't know. All I see is goblin gas, you know? So I feel like it's there.
Sorry to cut you off. No, that was so funny, man. How he literally, for folks who didn't see it, I mean, we're talking about when the player gets lost, he came out of the smoke, look left, look right, shot both ways. He was fighting ghosts. Oh, man. And it's so true. I mean, it's disorienting. So, and, you know, if talking about bowl for a second, while we remake the lobby, folks, sorry for the challenges, but you know how that goes. You know, if we're thinking about bowl, again, that defense side, like you said, those smokes on the attacking side are really strong, but so are the defense defense ones. I mean, the way that defense can be cut off at gen, attackers can be cut off at gen. The way defense can be cut off at headshot, you know, attackers can be cut off at curtains pushing into the site. So it's like, I think, like you said, it's too early to say with so much conviction that attack is going to be better, because it's all about the adaptation and how this utility is going to be used. And these little lug nuts, correct, I'm happy that they're much more, I would say, like, I don't want to say skillful, but require much more accuracy, right? Like, they're much more precise and they're much more skill oriented, right? Like, the other nades were very spot on, don't get me wrong. Like, you had to know how to use them, but these ones really require precision and timing and effort in learning them. So again, like you said, the utility I don't think we've seen how the utility is going to really play out. You know, like, since the new smokes came out, we saw the Arena Cup series, but it wasn't that much gaming to really say that this is going to be the meta forever. I mean, it just came out, you know, like day one they started with the new smoke. So there's still a lot to see with this util.
And we'll talk about two things. I'll ask you one a comedy question to begin with, and then we'll ask you a very critical question for the situation we're in right now. How much of a fan of Kung Fu are you, Blue?
Oh, I love me some Kung Fu.
That's the answer I'm looking for, all right? And I'll tell you what it is. There's two different types of grenade players right now, all right? With those that are the master of the drunken fist, okay? Those that are suddenly able to deal with this. My guy's had 5 pints and has rolled on into arena trying to throw his grenade with the most waggly pointy finger that you've ever done in your world. And for those of you that understand what I'm on about, if you tried to do a lineup, all right? Let's say my finger is trying to line up with the top of this canvas, and that's my angle with which I'm throwing it. Currently, with the grenade animation, your hand kind of does this, as if it's been out on a couple of days binge or a bender. So we can't really line it up that well. So it's interesting to see whether players have got the master of this drunken fist specifically down, or the alternative, which I've seen a lot of players doing, is using a crosshair placement and then just throwing regardless of where the hand looks from there. Seems to be more consistent. So interesting how each teams have produced their utility coming to this. And like you said, it is essential now that you are accurate with that utility, because a fraction, even half a meter away from your model, and you will kick the grenade and it won't kill you. Like, you can 100% be playing football so with the distance away from where the grenade lands, and you make a mockery out of explosions. So it's a very give and take scenario, all right? There are some situations where I think it's good. I don't want to be blown away in a super aggressive rat angle where I'm like maybe up in suicide on ball, tucked away behind that little corner peak. If somebody throws a grenade at generator, I don't want to be getting blown up by that. I've taken the risk of running aggressively into that position. Somebody can't be challenging me, and that's one thing I'd like to see. So, oh my word, there you go. Chat coming in with the rat-a-tat-tat. Was that 11? Did somebody just hit the full hip fire on the auto? Full auto 11 gifted subs to the community.
Right before Anonymous hit a 10 too, correct.
Oh, there you go. And there's 2 coming in, so we're doubling down.
Shit.
Oh boy, Walker with the wonderful action.
Mr. Walker.
5 gifted subs. Chat,
man.
if you've received yourself a sub from the support, please don't forget to say a thank you. All right, manners are also as free as the follow button is, and it's good to say thanks when it's gifted to you. As well, hit that notification bell. Get yourselves notified when we go live. Oh boy, and the big man himself, ladies and gentlemen, literally legendary hashtag blame Philbo itself.
Shit.
Boy, oh boy. Wait. Blue.
Bema coming in with 5 more. Philbo, Walker, Bema.
I need a whistle. I feel like the train's about to leave the station. Are we getting a hype train going on here? Is that what's happening? Are we so hyped that we are rolling?
I'd be surprised if there isn't one. I can't see it, but
yeah, I'm gonna say we've rolled so quickly out of the station. I think we've already missed 2 stops. Surely at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, the steam is on the train, and you guys are rolling off. Where's it gone?
Who has the train? Where is it?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the hype train has motivated it. Let's go,
Klishnikov, thank you so much. Kals, thank you for the 5. Klishnikov, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. You guys are way too kind.
So, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 for the HPL qualifiers. TFG versus Baptim. Pigeon opens up with an early kill onto Drab. 4 versus 5 for the Baptim side in round number 1. Remember, TFG are defending with Core taking an absolutely disgusting shot into Pigeon in the mid lane. Takes him out, Harry Potter. Great kill there back from Baptim. 1 apiece. Wow, look at the smoke, Blue.
And Core sauced him up with that sauce. The classic Enforcer kit, folks, running that Vulcan. Not sure if he's running tier 5 or tier 6 just yet. Big, beefy. Oh, got the Scout, though. A nice little Val.
Just going to do a great job into the Enforcers. That Val kit we were talking about used to try and pin the box. Bit of pre-fire as Frosty's going to find the shotgun kill over the top of the core. Maddox is here and he's going to actually get a good trade into him.
Nice
Frosty gets caught coming up the scenery. It's a great pickup from Maddox too. Again, a piece per side going down, but Maddox has had a little bit of damage done to his health bar. Half on the HP and a fracture. And you see TFG still have control of this front door section. Maddox is going to get himself challenged by Colby Joe if he reads it well in time. Looks like we can see Foxy in the back corridor. He's going to find one onto Maddox with a disgusting angle from the side of Ali. 3 versus 2. Bomb decides to go the other way, though. It looks like Blue is snuck out of the door. And yes, here we go. Round the outside, round the outside.
And 2 trailer park boys are going around the outside, going through connector, going through. Doesn't know Stripey's there. He does pick up one, but does die while planting. Doesn't clear his angles, unfortunately for Sick. Gets taken out. 20 seconds left, Crack. Not much opportunity for High Fear. Looking pretty bruised on that bottom right, folks. You can see High Fear bleeding out probably. Really hurt. Has to kill both right now. Probably can't get the bomb down. Stripey's just got to put some pressure, not letting it plant. Doesn't grab the bomb, though. Doesn't even have... He might be able to force it right now. I think he's a drop too late. He might actually just get it, correct?
That's going to go down just in time, and as it does, it then gets an insta-kill from Stripey as both members from the TFG side step up together and swing to claim that kill. The device is going to be deactivated, and TFG on the defense are going to take round number 1. A good first round from Baptim, though, Blue, and a very close one, actually. Very evenly sided. We saw players traded 1 for 1, 2 for 2. The bomb went into an aggressive point. TFG held the point well. Baptim adjusted well and went for a switch. The Plague almost gets them seeing the site, but as they see the site, a resilient TFG leaves a member defending that B site for the switch, and they don't get caught off guard. All round, both teams some phenomenal play, and this feels like it could go the distance.
I think it can. I mean, like you said it perfectly. Good defense, good rotations from the offense, good pivot again by the defense. Looks like they're putting pressure on. Hey, I did hear a nade just get pulled behind him. 2 nades out, nading that alley.
That's aggressive,
2
is that?
players. Oh, but that corner, as we were saying, the precision needed on these nades. We see how Foxy was basically staring at the nade, doesn't die. Gonna be pre-firing? Ooh, Pigeon's gonna killing actually Maddox on the other side. Yep. Yeah.
Smoke. Goes to the back corridor. Apologies for cutting you off there, Blue. This is so tense. Look how many people are inside of this point here. I'd almost be tempted at this point to just call an aggressive push from the Baptim side. We're looking at the pressure coming down. Guns are firing as the bomb does get planted. That's a great aggressive approach from Baptim, but as the front door from TFG finds 1, finds 2, it's going to find High Fury fighting for his life in the corner. High Fury dry. Rat finds 1. Foxy finds Sick individual. High Fury dry is still left, last standing, but in the 1 versus 4, TFG are going to have full control. It is Foxy for the finish. 2-0 TFG.
EFG just made such chaos out of that situation. I mean, the bomb was planted. Map looked like they were in control. 2 players on defense around the alley. They forced the plant, and then I believe it was Call Me Joe, push up, kills 1, puts pressure on another. 2 other players die. And really after that, no member of TFG died. 1 member, I believe, died initially, and then they never died. I mean, great retake. Good use of the chaos in the smoke. The smoke disorients both teams. And right there we saw, I mean, Call Me Joe capitalized on that chaos. That was a great job from Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Captain stepping up in his place, TFG being led by that original member of Call Me Joe, who's on the previous roster lineup from the original HPL. Backed up by the strength of also returning member Pigeon, who has done very good, I've got to say. 2 rounds, 2 first bloods, Blue. First kill on the Pigeon, definitely sees flight of the Pigeon being the beginning. The opening success to TFG on the defending round. Round number 3, BPM are going to go for an aggressive push towards the down. Foster's going to find the second. Frost is going to step for the 3rd. 2 MCX kills and a shotgun secure alley. Leaves Baptim really hurting after this aggressive push.
Yeah, Foxy going absolutely crazy. I mean, 1 player left and just can't even get the words out in time. TFG pick up a 3rd decisive round. First round super close, as Crack pointed out. That was a great adaptation out of the offense. Picked up opening kills, trade for trade, blow for blow. But the round 2, round through, TFG pretty much in total control. Yeah, the bomb was planted the 2nd round, but they immediately retook it. No one died. This round, just opening picks on all positions. Alley, A main, middle no one took position on the flank on the attacking side. I mean, really a great defense so far coming out from TFG. Going to B now for Baptim. Nade coming out, smoke's coming out. Here's this util. Nice nade on the parkour. Unfortunately, no one's there. It was a good read. I like this initial smoke, but okay, so they're smoking. Looks like they're planning on smoking middle and parkour.
Parkour's gonna have a tough time, aren't they?
Yeah, they're trying to isolate that angles.
Interesting to see High Fury Dry's actually gotten all the way into Forklift here. Normally a defensive grenade would try and dissuade some of that pressure, so I'm wondering whether the grenade has still been held from Team TFG. Interesting to see whether that plays out. Foxy has managed to claim one onto Drab, as Frost has gone down as well. Stripe's going to be right close in the corner. Too strong inside a connector, and Maddox nearly makes a mincemeat out of two of them. Claims one apiece. Call Me Joe is good. Captain stands strong for the trade, and one apiece in connector allows High Fury Dry to rotate towards the door in red. Foxy has him on his left-hand side. Is Fox aware? He has adjusted positioning. Call Me Joe gets challenged on connector as Core steps up to try and support High Fury in the point. The door is challenged from red side as Core takes a bit of damage to his health bar. Sick individual now stepping up to support. Three-man strong Baptim are trying their darnest to try and take down this site location. Looking for control. Foxy steps in and slams one into High Fury Dry. That's the first of three. TFG deciding to start with a strong response. The best defense is a good offense, and they push up. 2 left versus 3 blue.
2 versus 3. Vapid 40 seconds. Oh, Core tries to catch it, but Foxy, oh man, slams him with that MCX. Absolutely barbecuing right now. 8-0. Sick individual alive. Really red in the chest. Things are not looking good for the attack. Pigeon takes him out with one shot with that AK-12, 7-40 to the chest, and just like that, 4-0 coming out of this defense, Cracked. 8-0. The MCX showing its first showing of Fangs in that Arena Cup Series 2. And now that seems to be, I wouldn't say flavor of the month. I think this weapon's here to stay. Super consistent, super strong. I mean, and the ricochet chance, you know, these Enforcer kits that have that tanky Tier 5 Vulcan face shield helmet with that Death Shadow under it, that MCX AP ammo is only going to have 30% ricochet crack, where that SP6 is going to have 50%. It really is great ammo.
Oh, Call Me Joe gets a good grenade kill on the early one. There's a second follow-up from Pigeon mid. Joe then follows up on the grenade with a gun kill. Sick individual does manage to claim a quick snipe back onto Pigeon. The bird's wings shot out, finally grounded. 2 members left on the Baptim side, though. We're going to have 4, 2 per 1 player alive to have to contest. They'll be able to take something in round number 5. Stripey sneakily hidden away on site as Core's going to take shotgun versus Enforcer, and the Flechette finds its home.
And Call Me Joe pounds Core's core with that shotgun, and unfortunately, Enforcer versus Enforcer, Flechette chews up and spits out other Enforcers when it's in a close matchup. Sick, 1v4, not in a great position. He does have the bomb, but right now, he doesn't have any control of anything, it seems. All of his team gone. He's in that heaven right there chilling. TFG does have somewhat of an idea that maybe he's lurking. I did hit that middle. I think he heard him. Now 6, slowly creeping up. Going to be having 2 shotguns in that connector. Going to have Stripey at that door, Cracked. I don't see how Sick can break onto this side.
Remember, at this point, Stripey is not moved at all, and that's what's going to happen. Stripey is not moved the entire round of the engagement at all. Silent in the corner, and the bomb has 0 idea because there's just too many players to deal with. What a phenomenal hold from TFG, actually, all round. Some good strength in positioning, discipline in not giving away too much information, and not leaving the point without any information to start to rotate. It's a good approach. I'll give Vaxen the due. They really are trying to throw absolutely everything at each of these points that they're attacking, but at this moment in time, the utility's really done a strong job at being able to dissuade some of that aggressive approach.
TFG.
Oh, that's a crucial
that opening kill. They're smoking out mid, Crack. Looks like they're going to be pressure in that cut. Oh, Joe gets naded. One push up to sandwich. One's in green. One's in hell. One's also backside of mid. Sick. Or Call Me Joe still alive at that parkour. Putting shots down on hell. I don't know if you know Core's out of green just yet. Looks like Core's out of Rusty gets traded. Trades him out, though. High Fury trades out Joe. Or kills Joe, not trades.
Yeah, technically you're kind of right. It is an extended trade. One from the back, and then High Fury steps out from hell. Doesn't necessarily engage in the initial action, but the counter kill from hell as the fight top mid does find the extended trade coming out. Blue, you're absolutely right in that situation, and Frosty is finding themselves a little bit of space. Frosty managed to step up and get the first, but High Fury took a second, so a 2-for-1 pick from the Baptim side counteracts that great grenade kill that Joe had picked up. They did lose mid-control earlier. Now you see this is how the Bay 5 map in general plays out, as a lot of teams tend to center towards that mid-control. Call Me Joe tried to step up and fill the gap, got taken out. Another member tried to step up and fill the gap, got taken out. Foxy finds High Fury Dry and the bomb on the rotation, still holding his position on this A side though. We'd forgotten all about the rotational hold, and the rotational hold comes true. Oh,
10-0, Cracked. 10-0. No deaths so far in this matchup. 3 MVPs so far. Just, oh man. Foxy's looking quite sly over there. Not much else to say. This TFG lineup, 6-0. You know, both these lineups had a little bit of shakeup, but unfortunately, looks like TFG's new lineup super strong, and Vatham just not breaking through that defense.
Look at the performance out of the captain on Joe. 8-2, backing up that top frag in Fox with a phenomenal performance of their own. Talk about leading your team to victory. Takes a headshot as he jiggle peeks the parkour peak. That's going to cost him a bit of a ring to the ding and a heavy bleedness. And then he's going to grenade him back. Talk about saying thanks for the trade. Have some back aggression. Oh no. Delivers him the gift that keeps on giving as Joe again puts another grenade in the mouth of a Vaptin player.
Oh my goodness, that is tough. Knowing you shot your opponent then to get naded, Frosty kills Drabham. 5v3, 5v2, Pigeon with that Civ and N40. TFG just getting kill after kill. Vaptum getting swatted like flies no matter where they're peeking, just getting taken out. Sick. Can't take out that dang Flechette. Enforcer on Enforcer crimes. Core does take out Pigeon. Looking beefy. We see on that concussed icon does tank the headshot, but he's got a line of defense to kill.
Yeah, both teams trading a headshot apiece this time. Joe tanking one and then also Core tanking one in the depth in the clutch, but who comes out on top? Well, Core left as the last man alive. It's too little too late, and Stripey finds themselves another kill on that B point, and 7-0. TFG have really come to make a statement today. I just want to testify to the few deaths that are going out across the TFG side. Notice that also at this point in time, I love me a coincidence, Blue. Cut me a slice of coincidence cake, but just count the deaths on the Vaptim sides from top to bottom for me.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
3, 1, 2, 0, and 5. Not looking good on the other side. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
All the sevens. 7 being the magic number. This is only the hope that we can see a 7-0 TFG and 7 deaths on every Vaptim member. Is this the magic moment where the turnaround starts? Pigeon has taken a lot of damage, but still manages to find the return in mid. Pigeon for a second as Drab goes down, and the 3-man strong push coming through this container. It's going to be challenged on parkour. Call Me Joe takes the first set of shot, steps into High Pure Dry as the 3-man strong push does reap rewards. Sick Individual is going to slam Frosty inside of the container, and Core finds Pigeon. Stripey does find High Dry in defense to that point. Stripey going to put some pressure down to connect, so the bombs can find its way onto site. Stripey finds Core, and Sick Individual is now the last member left standing. Vaptim take a much more aggressive approach to taking fights against the TFG lineup and find a lot more success, but it's only left them with a 2 versus 1, not a 4 or 5 versus 1 this time, so a lot more chance for success. But with Stripey and the unkillable El Foxy left last alive, one has only got to think that Sick Individual needs to pull something sick to take this round home.
Yeah, and I think his positioning's perfect. Great rotation. I mean, he kind of read them. He can...
Oh.
I don't know. Oh, they're not following it quick enough. He might be able to actually plant. Yeah, he could plant and get off site right now. I mean, the last hope. 2 and 7. Oh, but he's not quick enough.
Does he challenge both? Surely
I think he's got to isolate this player who came out of that mid-cut sandwich area, or he's going to get crossfired and cooked. I mean, Foxy and Stripey, though, 1 death and 0 deaths. The last 2 players you want to be isolated against. Sick does take him out, though. Sick's got no time, though. He's got to kill Stripey or force the plant right now.
And
no, just like that, Stripey's going to win. He can't actually close the distance based on Bayside's map design. Oh, man. And just like that, 8-0 going into the half. Foxy showing that he's not immortal, dies in the last round in the last few seconds. But unfortunately for Vaptim, it didn't make any difference. Only 4, 4, 3, 3, and 1 kills coming out of the team. I mean, it's looking really rough over there. 15 kills for the entire half is not gonna be able to break through the defense that TFG had. TFG played well, played as a unit, got their early picks, didn't really lose control of site, retook well. I mean, there's not much to say.
I mean, there is also the potential, though, right? That 8-0 defending round comes in from Vaptim as well. This does go to show and reinforce thoroughly the point we were discussing earlier, which is defending definitely is the stronger side on most of the maps if you have the measure of the opponent's aggression. Now, What have Team TFG got to bring to the table when it comes to aggressing themselves? That's a huge nade towards Parkour. Doesn't find a home. High Dry does get it. Frost trades out one, finds a second quick kill as Frost then extends the trade to the advantage of TFG, claiming site location. Site pressure forces Plant down, and a grenade is being cooked on site as Frost is pushing into people on red. Frosty! Talk about ice cold 3000. Here comes the triple kill, and that Flechette is ready to play. Knees are weak. Frost feels himself some more Flechette for the victory. Ladies and gentlemen, Team TFG take home a 9-0 victory against Baptist in game number 1.
Frosty with the ace to close it out. Frosty gonna be your MVP here, and it's hard to give him the MVP because holy cannoli, folks, what did we just witness? Their name is a lie. I'm calling them out now. You guys said you were friendly, okay? There was nothing friendly about that 9-0 absolute barbecuing. Pushing themselves as our first 1-0 team in this qualifier, cracked. And unfortunately, on the other side, Vaptum not picking up a round, going down to our 0-1 position. And if you're just tuning in, folks, 2 wins and you're in, 2 losses and you're out. It's a quick qualifier. So unfortunately, our best of 1. Hats off to TFG. I mean, cracked. What do we say?
Well, I mean, each member took their turn to stand in the spotlight for that game. I'm not going to lie to you. Foxy had a flawless opening performance with some dominant strength, both in the point played on his own when they were aggressing that side of the map, and then holding at the second half of the game when they weren't their side of the map, and staying with one member on that point, not being, so we say, a lack of discipline, dragged towards the action and the play. Sick Individual even managed to find that gap in an exposed area to be able to rotate across in the bomb point. Yes, the team did react well in time to go and chase, and that's it. But Sick Individual almost like had me, my ankles broken with how smooth the silky swap was. It was nice to see, actually. But I mean, Call Me Joe stepped up and threw the beautiful grenade when, you know, was getting challenged in parkour. Pigeon, again, time and time again, winning that mid control. We said, somebody even made a point out in chat that they were dodging grenades, playing themselves a game of dodgeball at the top of mid. We saw many a grenade from Baptim attempting to claim that mid control back from Pigeon, but not to success most of the time. And then Frosty with the ace. I mean, what more could you possibly want than all 5 members' heads to roll, as well as taking the trophy victory on your way out the door? A great performance all around from those friendly guys that might not be so friendly anymore. Commiserations and GG's to Baptims for the first game of the day. They will be going down to that losers bracket game, the best of 3, to fight for their chance to step back into the qualification match later on today. But nonetheless, as the first game is out of the door, out the window, and completed into the bag, we have game number 2 to come up with. And ladies and gentlemen, that update to the qualifiers is going to be flying in on screen for you right now. So with that victory, TFG have locked themselves in for game number 4 of the day for their chance in the first of their 2 best of 3s to qualify. Baptim, with that loss, will find themselves in a best of 3 to fight for survival, which will take place after our next first qualification best of 1, which will be Panderic taking on Team K3.
Yep. K3, Panderic, our next game. And I'm sure both these teams, if they're out in chat, they watch that happen. And I wouldn't feel too comfortable even going into this next game. The stage has been set. I mean, TFG, regardless of who wins our next game, correct, both these teams, I mean, there's a 9-0, 0 rounds given up team waiting on the other side. I don't care how you slice it, team, a new team, old roster, I don't care how you define it. 9-0 in the first game is a very, very brutal way to tell everyone here that you're not here to play. That being said, we're going to have to wait for some more brutality later from that TFG lineup. Now, Craig, going over to our next game, Panderic versus K3. Going to be having out Holocrux, Lost, Schmexy, and Denny with Silly on the bench, or as a sub, with K3 having Malikan, Gyrus, Griffin, Reynolds, and Halava. K3 going to be one of our newer teams, cracked. And again, I can't say I'm too familiar with them, but you know what? I'm very excited to see what they have to prove. Because on the other side, Panderic was around in our first HPL Euro League in that season 1, and unfortunately they didn't place in our top 4, so that's why they're back in this qualifier. But they're looking strong, and I've heard good things about Panderic and Scrims. I've heard good things about the way this lineup has cleaned up some of the challenges Panderic had before, so I'm really looking forward to this game, cracked.
I'm going to be extremely excited to see what happens out of either side here. Both team lineups are a phenomenal set of players, a lovely group of players that are all very keen to develop and improve themselves within the arena scene. And that's what I, as a caster, love to stand for when it comes to the players. I would like to see every single player, regardless of their lineup, be successful and challenge themselves to get better day in, day out, and then so that they can bring it to the table on match day like this and show us how much better they've got in between the last time we saw them perform. So Panderic's lineup of Out, Horcrux, Lost, Schmexy, and Denny, with Silly on the bench, is going to be anything other than silly. Let me be honest with you. There's 6 strong team members right there. You have Out, who is going to be leading the charge from that captain's seat, with the seatbelt locked securely in, sourcing themselves some amazing utility. Out has been seen time and time again to be revered within the teams that have been scrimming them, practicing up to qualifiers, as one of the better utility players that has weathered the difficult times of the change of utility better than others. Horcrux, I know, has been putting a lot of time in themselves, training hard day in, day out, playing the scrims, playing even just solo queue for hours on end to try and improve that mechanical prowess. Lost, Schmexy, and Denny, all 3 exceptional players, 100% not to be slept on, and more than the right to carry in their own minds. Now, a familiar lineup for those of you that know the Panderic side, we'll have to talk about K3. Malikan, Duras, Griffin, Reynolds, and Halava may not be familiar to you guys now, but I am sure after the qualifiers you will know this team's name. Whether they can take it home against the tough Panderic side today, I'm not sure. I will be honest with you, but this K3 lineup is not one to slouch on. Scrims from the TFG side have faced these guys. Scrims from Panderic and others have also faced these guys and have not come away with clean victories, sometimes even having maps taken off of us, because the K3 side has got a lot to offer. Duras, Griffin, and Reynolds, all within their own rights, Blue are phenomenal players within the clutch. So I'm very excited to see how Panderic weathers the storm of K3 overall. And as we talk about the storm that's going to be brought today, let's have a look about the environment, Blue. Let's have a quick nosy at what's going to be happening when it comes to where they're going to be playing. So Panderic have won that coin toss, which means that Panderic then is going to choose to ban first, pick the side for the map that they actually end up playing. Panderic then comes in with a Bay 5 ban. K3 follows that with a Fort ban and a Bowl ban, which sees us being taken to Skybridge. Then Panderic has chosen to defend first on Skybridge, which I'm sure we're all not so shocked about at home. And like you said before, Blue, defending is the strength of the day, it seems, and that's going to leave Panderic choosing to roll with that as well. Now, thoughts? Skybridge, Blue. Talk to me about that map, first of all. How do you feel?
I know we tend to say defense sided, but again, I think this map is defense sided, but it has the ability to be attack sided, same as Bay 5, because these new smokes, correct, particularly on A, you can be so obnoxious with cutting off the lines of sight. But on the other side, again, you're on that defense side, you could push up very quickly and smoke out KFC in short, smoke out VIP maybe, isolate short, or maybe smoke out short and VIP isolate long. KFC, there's a lot of options for both teams. So, you know, like, I think the map overall, B site's a little bit weirder, folks. If you're not too familiar, Skybridge on B side is 3 lanes, 2 trains in the middle. Some of them have openings around parts of them. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it's very wide. It's very open. Lots of parts to clear. Lots of places to hide. It's a much more challenging to take. Where A is, you know, you get a few good smokes and you really can cut off a lot of lines of sight. So I think A is going to be the favored attacking side for both sides, correct? And I think I still would start out defense again, because I think with the new util, I would just try and play a little bit more aggressive, put a little bit more pressure, use the utility to take space, and then move backwards from that.
You've nailed it.
You know?
And this is the thing for me that I actually think Skybridge succeeds into. Skybridge being so strong over that A point for such a multitude of reasons. So for those of you at home that, you know, haven't had the familiarity of being able to look at that top-down map, weren't as fortunate as I was to cast the ACS and have that mini-map to your aid for the entirety of those performances. It is the one map in this game that you would consider doesn't have a middle. There is no middle control to play for here. So it is very much you are either all in this one side or you're all in this side, or you'll find your team being very spread. And spread is hard to deal with when an aggressive force controls and sort of channels itself towards one focal point. That sometimes an aggressive approach on the defense can actually be better than a slower approach on the offense. You find Skybridge is the one map that plays the opposite way round to what you
Right.
would expect. The defending side gets more strength from taking ground, from being up in the face of the attacking side so that they don't have angles to play from, such as KFC, Sandwich, the trash can angle where you can get up on the scenery and see over the top with a nice head glitch,
Right.
the elevator distance, playing deep elevator, playing close elevator, being able to prone out on that angle and abuse the fact that the helmet's very strong at tanking bullets in that angle, your arms get in the way. It's just a choice of play style that works very well, and it's a lot more favored for the team that's holding those angles. Flip side to that, the attacking side has to get themselves through KFC. They have to meet a sandwich challenge, which on tempo is very, very hard to do, because if you haven't got support from Hole, which can be pre-naded by the defending side,
Right.
it's just very, very in the top trumps match of positioning versus positioning. It's very defensive favored if you play up.
Yeah.
If you give the team that space, it becomes a lot harder to weather as the defending side, because then they have that ability to sort of create a gap of audio. You have 3 players playing aggressively. The bomb and buddy sits back by the stairs. You weather the storm. The storm looks great and it's all sunny on A, and the bomb comes flying on in for a free beachside party. Or it looks like the rainstorms and the clouds are coming in, snow descends over A, and my man says, cool, all right, time for out of country business. We swing on round up over through heaven, find the stairway to heaven, and paradise is down in that B site, and the bomb goes and takes that with the buddy on their own, whilst the distraction is stopping the early rotation. And it definitely is, I feel, very favored for Skybridge. The first players to the point quickly are the ones that have control of the area. One thing to watch out for, though, Blue, that beautiful 90 grenade, the post-plant grenade being saved from the defensive side if you don't take the aggressive approach to let the plant come down. And it's one of the few maps that we do see real true retakes coming in on. So with all of that wonderful wisdom and knowledge that's just been thrown at you all there, I hope you've all had your Weetabix and your coffee today, because you're going to need it to be able to keep up with Cracked commentary. Regardless of that, we're going to give you a 2-minute breather, ladies and gentlemen. All we're going to be doing is vanishing for 2, so don't go anywhere too far, because you don't want to be missing out on the action. Be right back after this.
No.